the world that you were expressing.
Huh.
How did you get into the spiritual disciplines? What drew you to your spirituality?
Well, it's hard to say because it just kind of, happened. But when I was in high school, I had a roommate, a friend of mine whose father was with a very famous saint in India, and he kind of told me stories about this saint. That kind of started like this, this interest in that life, because I had a lot of hunger, inside, and I started reading more about this saint, and then this saint liked certain things, and this saint was from India, so I started researching India and finding out more about him and the culture and stuff, and then it just kind of, from there, it just kind of got deeper and deeper. I had a teacher in high school who was a religions teacher, and he was a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, so he kind of taught me about that tradition, and then taught me a little bit of meditation, and then it just kind of all just snowballed after that. I just kind of, once you get the higher taste, it's hard to go back.
The thing that I find interesting is that in a lot of ways it seems like you are doing a lot of recall from past lives in India because you're so in alignment with everything that's going on there.
I don't know if I'm in alignment. I'm trying to get in line, but it's just a practice, and the music is my way of exploring that world and trying to listen to that, that higher, I guess, consciousness, speak to me and inspire me, and music is the way that I worship,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I just did an interview about a month ago with Yuval Ron, who is a Jewish fellow who does ancient sacred music from all three of the Abrahamic traditions.
Wow.
And he's talking about how music is, in fact, a common language. And when we get all of our tribes together, that's the way that we can open dialogue is through the expression of music and dance.
Uh-huh.
So, you're right in that stream heading, toward that river of unity with your particular gift and your particular vision.
Uh-huh. Well, I think I fully agree with that. I mean, I think music is just the universal language. I mean, it doesn't, even if you don't understand the words, I mean, 75% of the music I listen to is like world music, and I don't understand what they're saying, but it gives me that feeling, that taste, and it's just so powerful, so I think I definitely think it's the way to bring people together and et cetera, et cetera.
And it also, I think, adds to our own spiritual evolution. I think that through music we do maintain some kind of a conscious connection to that higher consciousness.
For sure. I mean, the closest I feel to that higher consciousness is when I'm either playing or listening to music. So, very powerful.
That it is. Yeah, I was listening to some of your things this morning just to have a review as we're preparing to connect here.
Uh-huh.
And the one cut, A Sunny Sky, I thought that was really one of your better cuts in a lot of ways because it's so, I don't know, you're embracing something that is so, in the minds of Americans especially, so contra to where you're at. And you expressed it with such ease and grace. I really love that cut.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about that track was that, it was just like really honest, and I wasn't afraid to like, just goof off a little bit and kind of have that, that vibe of the song. But I mean, besides all, when people first listen to it, they kind of laugh and they think, oh, this is such a funny, like, good song. But I mean, behind all that, it's like a pretty like deep song, pretty like struggler song and story of my life in some ways, So, but I like it just because it's so honest. It's so but it's not like a hard honesty. It's more of like a fun honesty,
Yeah, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. There's an elemental humor there in the midst of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the Mirror of the Sky, there is a brilliant example of your mastery of the guitar.
Uh-huh.
You know, you have classical guitar training. Uh-huh. How long did that last? Where did that take you?
I hadn't had any formal guitar training at all until I went to school, in boarding school in California, and I had about 2.5 years of classical training, and that just completely transformed my whole approach to the guitar. I mean, it really opened up all these doors, and it really influenced my style because I was already into that kind of finger style playing of the guitar. And this just helped exercise that muscle and helped me be creative in that way, So I think that definitely influences a lot of my songs and the way that I approach things and stuff. Unfortunately, I've kind of forgotten a lot of it, but I wish I kept up with it. It's an amazing style, amazing. Once you kind of get into it, that classical era, it's hard to get out of it because it's so fascinating and amazing. I think a lot of time I think that, especially like kids today, we think, oh, it's so boring. It's like classical, it just runs this and lines and stuff. But at first I thought that, but once I got into it and understood what was going on with like this line and that line, it really changed my whole approach to music. So that was a big thing in my musical career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find that a lot of the stuff that's happening in Spain, of course, is the ancient traditions of the guitar being explored there. Uh-huh. And Yuval Ron had told me that the purest form of flamenco and that higher evolution of guitar is actually preserved by the gypsies. The gypsies are the ones they go to get that core essence of the guitar.
Yes, that's fascinating. Have you ever seen this movie called Gypsy Caravan?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you gotta try. I don't know where you might have to look it up on the internet, but it's a movie about the gypsies, and it's all done in like their language, and they take gypsies from all over the world, and they go on kind of this tour. And I mean, talking about what we were talking about before, about the power of music transcending language, transcending culture, it is a beautiful movie, and it fully shows that. Fully shows that. So, yeah, Gypsy Caravan, the name of it.
I'll put that on my list because I'm always, the caravan. Feel like I got a heartbeat of 10. I thought I knew this one.